everyone, it's Amai here, and I wanted to talk about a movie that I saw yesterday. It's called The Fall Guy, came out recently, and I just wanted to talk about it for like a little bit. So yeah, let's get into it. Um, Basically, I think the movie was fun. It was a pretty fun watch. Obviously, in my opinion, at least, you're not really gonna be watching for like a very, very deep story. I don't think it was anything like too crazy. I definitely think the highlights of the movie is action scenes, right? Action scenes, action scenes, and action scenes, and I think that's great. I don't really have any complaints. I feel like a movie like The Fall Guy, at least for me, I didn't go in expecting like a very complex and deep, thought-provoking story. Obviously, there are some things that you can walk away with and think, you know, maybe I could learn a thing or two. But is it anything we haven't seen before? Not really. It's just kind of the more generic messages that they're trying to tell. But on to the meat of the movie, the action scenes. I think they're great. I think the action is really fun to watch. I think it's really hard nowadays to go wrong with action scenes or action sequences. But yeah, I think the action scenes and sequences were really fun to watch. Obviously, some of it feels a little nonsensical and a bit too good to be true, but I mean, when you're watching the movie, when you're in the thrill of it, you don't really care about that stuff anymore, at least for me. If an action scene is just really fun to watch, the choreography is cool, that's really good enough for me. I don't really stop and think, wait, how exactly does this make any sense? But yeah, obviously there's a lot of like coincidences and whatnot that happen throughout the movie, but I feel like that's pretty commonplace nowadays, and it's not a huge issue. It doesn't really take away anything from it. The action scenes are still incredibly fun to watch, and personally for me, another reason why I really like this movie was because of the way it approaches filmmaking. Obviously for me, I do ASMR RP mainly, and I do like acting. Obviously, I'm no pro. I don't, I haven't appeared in any sort of crazy projects or whatnot, but it is fun to see, and it is interesting to watch. And leaving this movie, I did feel quite inspired, and it really made me reconsider my major choice in uni to like pursue cinema and stuff. But that's not like super relevant. But yeah, I just think the movie was really, really fun to watch. The sound effects, the music and whatnot, I feel like were used pretty well. It helps set the tone and the vibe of like the scene between characters and whatnot. Oh, and on the topic of like between characters, I think the comedy and the relationships between the characters were pretty fun to watch. Obviously there were some characters that were less fleshed out. But then again, like I said, you're not really here to, experience a crazy deep story or anything. But the comedy and the banter between characters, very nice, very funny. It feels real, I guess, unlike some forms of comedy, not name dropping any movies, but a certain movie that dropped quite a while ago based on a Norse god. The comedy wasn't exactly really funny. It wasn't great, but for this movie, I think it was pretty humorous. It fit the context. It made sense. It wasn't repetitive. And overall, I just think they did a pretty good job with it. I have no huge complaints. I think it was very fun. Oh, and on the topic of like good comedy and action scenes, I will say, when I found out that there were, I think Bullet Train, like people who worked on the Bullet Train movie working on this as well, I think was the director, it gave me a lot of hope, because if you go back and check my review for Bullet Train that I did like when it dropped, I really enjoyed Bullet Train. I love the comedy, the style of comedy, and action scenes were also just, they were really fun to watch in my opinion. So yeah, enough of me just singing the praises. I do think it is a very fun movie to watch for casually, like casual. It's a casual watch, right? Like I said, you're not going in this for like crazy story and whatnot, but just as a casual watch, I definitely do recommend it. It's pretty fun. I added this after recording the main bulk of the video, just wanted to say I love the shout out and the nod to like stunt actors and whatnot. I obviously I think stunt actors are amazing for the things they do. I could absolutely never. I fear so much shit that I could literally never like make it as a great stunt person. So yeah, I just wanted to add that because absolutely respect it. And so yeah, back to the rest of the video. And yeah, that's all I really wanted to say. So thank you for watching. I do like to talk about movies once in a while. Obviously, I'm no pro, so I'm not gonna be able to give like crazy insight or anything. But yeah, hope you enjoyed. And if you do see it, I hope you have fun. If you don't, that's all right too. I'm not sponsored anyway. But yeah, thank you for listening, and I will see you next time. Bye bye.